Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I have some interesting Reddit stories to read to you guys while I play around in my Minecraft realm. Today, we have some Am I in the Wrong stories, as well as some scarier stories. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. If you want more content like this, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I post these usually twice a week, so let me know down in the comments if you like the type of stories that I'm reading, or if you have any suggestions for different types of stories, let me know. If you have your own story that you want me to read and react to, please send it to the email down in the description. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and jump into our first story. Our first story is titled Death Visited Our Oncology Unit Last Night. I work night shift, bedside, and a mixed acuity inpatient oncology ward as a CNA. Because of the nature of our unit, we have a lot of comfort care patients, people nearing their natural ends, so we don't do anything but provide them comfort in their last days. We see a lot of death on our floor and a lot of your basic hospital phenomena. Our names being called when no one is around us, feelings of not being alone, call bells going off in empty rooms, etc. But I can't explain what a patient relayed, what she experienced to us, right after 3 out of 5 of our comfort care patients passed away in one night. Being a mixed acuity ward, we have patients who are independent and patients who are on bed rest, and everything in between. The previous 1907 shift that I worked, we had 3 different patients pass away at 2100, 2300, and 033. On the opposite side of the unit from the patient that passed away at 3:30 a.m. was an independent patient whose spouse was staying overnight with her. The only thing I can say that was of note about her was the fact that she had Q4 every 4 hours neuro checks as she was admitted for CRS ICANS, a chemotherapy complication that frequently causes neurological symptoms, in particular the ICANS aspect. Otherwise, she was a completely ordinary patient and one of the healthiest on our floor, relatively speaking. This patient's spouse called us around 4 a.m. to say that his wife was behaving strangely, and so I and my orientee went to go check on her and alert the primary RN to her new symptoms. When we entered the room, the patient was sitting on the side of the bed arguing with her husband about how he's not crazy. She absolutely certain that they were walking around in the hallway, etc., etc. My orientee asked exactly what happened slash what's going on. The patient proceeds to tell us in great detail about how she and her husband decided to go for a late night walk on the unit as it was particularly quiet. My orientee and I both looked at each other as soon as she said the Q word. As any person that is in a hospital knows, that means things are about to hit the fan if you mention things are quiet or slow. They walked around the unit. The unit is shaped like a big loop and met a beautiful African American woman with long black hair on the opposite side. They struck up a short conversation and made small talk until the other woman, who the patient assumed to be a member of the nursing staff or another patient, asked if she had a key on her. Obviously, the patient said that she didn't. She didn't need her keys on her. I can't open the door if you don't have a key. You need your key. The patient insisted that the woman said this verbatim, kept asking if she had a key, and then said the woman looked at her and walked away from her. But she didn't feel any sort of disdain coming from the woman. She just seemed like she had been somewhere she needed to be, and again, the patient assumed she was part of the nursing staff and kept walking in the opposite direction. She also mentioned over and over that the woman had a very strong perfume and that her husband was commenting on it as well, saying that it smelled very strongly of orchids. As she's describing this, the husband is insisting that none of this happened and that the patient was sleeping and that he only woke up because the patient turned the lights on in the room. The patient is getting very frustrated at this point, and so my orientee and I go to get the nurse so she can do a neuro check on her to make sure she's not having worsening neurological symptoms. It gave us both a serious case of goosebumps, and we really can't explain what kind of motivation this patient would have to lie about experiencing this. Nurses and nursing staffs are incredibly superstitious, and we often repeat on our floor that death comes in threes. Three people passed away this previous shift. Everyone on our floor firmly believes that this patient spoke to death in the form of a beautiful, calm, and purposeful woman, leaving our floor after finishing her duty and moving on to find the next person who had their key to their door. That is the end of our story. That one is pretty eerie, but at the same time, could it be some of her neurological system, neurological symptoms worsening? I'm not sure. If there's anyone that's in like the medical field that has experienced anything kind of creepy or eerie like this, feel free to leave your experiences down in the comments below. But that's an interesting one, a little eerie. I don't know how I would react. Probably pretty similar to the CNA and the Orientee. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into another story. Our next story is titled, Am I in the Wrong for Emptying the Chest Freezer After Finding Out My Brother-in-Law Was Selling Food Out of It? I have a chest freezer in my garage that I have had for about 6 years. Back in spring, my brother-in-law asked if he could keep a few things in it because theirs had died and they were waiting to replace it. I said yes, and there was space. I only go out there every couple of weeks. Over the summer, my own stuff got harder and harder to find. And then last week, I went out for a bag of chips, and the whole thing was full of identical foil trays, stacked and labeled with dates and initials on, with masking tape. He's been running a meal prep business out of it. He sells to about 15 people through a Facebook group. There were somewhere around 90 trays, wow, in there, and my own food was in a carrier bag at the bottom underneath all of it. I didn't ring him. I took every tray out, put the lot in the wheelie bin, and messaged him afterwards to say the freezer isn't available anymore. He says that was 350 pounds of stock and 2 full weekends of cooking, and that you could have just asked me to move it. My wife thinks he's right about that part and that I've made Christmas awkward over something one phone call would have sorted out. I think if he told me in spring what he was actually planning, I would have said no. Am I in the wrong? That story is now over. All right. I do think in this scenario, the poster is in the wrong. And the reason why I think that is first off, that's 350 pounds of food that it sounds like the poster just literally wasted, right? I get being upset that he is basically selling food, like meal prepping food and storing it in there. But at the same time, kind of like what the brother in law said, you could have just called him and said, hey, like, I need my freezer space back. Like, can you get all of this out, right? Yeah, I think I gotta go against the poster. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, but I really do think that this should have been handled in a better way. He should have just called his brother-in-law and let him know that, hey, I need my space back within my freezer and you're gonna have to get all this out. That way he can get it all out, you get your space back, and you also don't waste 350 pounds of food. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, what you would have done. Like I said, I think I'm siding with the brother-in-law here, but anyways, let's go ahead and jump into another story. Our next story is titled, Am I in the Wrong for Not Wanting My Wife's Best Friend's Girlfriend at My House Anymore? Context. My wife is gone for 2 weeks, so we asked her best friend, our daughter's godmother, to come and stay in case I had any medical appointments that my daughter couldn't be at. She did say yes, and the week before my wife left, the best friend we will call Taylor asked if her girlfriend Alex could come as well. We met Alex before, and we had no problem with her, as she was bubbly and respectful with our daughter. Now, current moment. They're here, and Alex is barely speaking, barely interacting with my daughter. Not required, but this is her house too. Show her some respect. And she seems to have an attitude. So I spoke to Taylor basically just wanting to know if this is normal. Taylor said yes, and she basically just ignores it. The first day they were here, we just chilled and I made burrito tacos for dinner, Alex's request. The next day, Alex was still acting the same way, not very communicative, despite me trying to involve her in conversations. We did leave the house to go shopping, and Taylor was paying for all of Alex's stuff. Not my business. While at Sam's Club, Alex mentioned wanting a seafood boil, and I told her there really aren't any good spots around here. Taylor and I just got sushi because that's all we wanted for lunch. Alex kept mentioning a seafood boil, so I told her that if she got her stuff, I could cook it up for her. She agreed. We got to Walmart and I picked up some food for my daughter. Alex grabbed her seafood, and then we all went to check out. Alex ended up scanning the seafood boil under me, and I was confused, but I didn't want to embarrass her. I spoke to Taylor after, and Taylor said Alex doesn't make a lot of money and won't spend her own money. On the way back home, Alex asked me to make spaghetti, lasagna, and 2 racks of ribs throughout the week, which I quickly said no to because I knew Alex wanted me to foot the bill for all of it. Fast forward to the next day, I was making chicken quesadillas for dinner, which I told them. Alex said, I want steak in mind. Mind you, at 4 p.m., I said, I don't have steak taken out, and I told you chicken quesadillas at 10 a.m. She instantly got an attitude. I asked Taylor if she wanted an elote because I did Taylor, said yes, and so I started to order them. I asked Alex if she wanted anything from the Mexican restaurant, and she said a steak quesadilla. I told them, okay, let's go since the food will be ready when we get there. The nasty attitude continued. She stomped her way to the guest room and then slammed the car door shut when she got in. Fast forward when we got home, she eats and then eats her leftover IHOP, throwing her to go containers in the bag next to her on our white couch. I said to Taylor, get her or I'm gonna cuss her out because she's being disrespectful and rude. Once I put my daughter down to bed, I told them I was going to take a shower, then cook dinner. They said okay. I'm guessing Taylor talked to Alex then because then Alex started to involve herself into the conversation, and Taylor told me that they were going to leave early to avoid the rainstorm coming in. They were originally going to leave Monday, but decided to leave Saturday. I wake up Saturday morning and go to get my daughter out of her room and instantly smell weed. I texted Taylor and asked if they smoked in my house because it's in my daughter's room and I can smell it outside the guest room. She said she promises, and then they quickly left. Am I in the wrong for not wanting Alex back at my house and removing Taylor from being my daughter's godmother due to the disrespect that was happening while they were here? Update. I spoke to my spouse and she said Alex isn't allowed back to the house. She said Taylor is no longer the godmother because of the disrespect she allowed. However, Taylor is going to be allowed back to the house and it's her choice if she doesn't want to, since Alex won't be allowed back. I texted Taylor all of this morning and she decided that she won't be coming around anymore. She said it's not because Alex isn't around. She said us removing her as our daughter's godmother made her feel like we couldn't trust her, and she doesn't like that. She said that she is heartbroken that she is no longer our daughter's godmother, and she won't try to convince us to change that. When I told my wife what Taylor said, she said it felt like Taylor only cared about the title of godmother instead of what the role actually meant. So, when we decided to no longer allow her to be our daughter's godmother, she removed herself from our lives. That is the end of our story. Okay, I do not think that the poster is in the wrong. First off, having your wife's best friend's wife or significant other there, and for them to be disrespectful in your house the whole time, like not wanting to talk. Also, the footing, you having to foot the bill for a seafood boil for her is crazy work. Also, her requesting like steak and a rack of ribs and all of this stuff and expecting you to foot the bill, that is crazy work to me. So, definitely not in the wrong. And the title of godmother, I don't think that truly is that big of a deal. Like, making someone a godmother and then taking it back. I don't know. Maybe it is. I just I don't think it is. But you guys let me know what you think down in the comments. But I definitely think the poster is not in the wrong. I think he let that go on in his house for way too long. And it sounds like, especially the weed thing, I would have been so upset. So I do not blame him, especially when you got a kid in the house. Like, that is unacceptable. So 100% agree with the poster. Glad that he got them out a few days early. I probably would have wanted them out earlier than he did. So, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let's go ahead and jump into another story. Our next story is titled, My Neighbor's Parties Are Starting to Creep Me Out. I, 25 male, just moved into a duplex. Rent is affordable. It's nice to finally escape the apartment life, and I'm so excited to be able to have a garden. Everything has been great so far, except my neighbors slash housemates are giving me weird vibes. I live in one half of the house, and a couple, probably mid 30s, live on the other side. Let's call them Arden and Andrea. I haven't met them yet, but in the week I've been here, something kind of strange has been happening. Two times they've had a bunch of people over, like at least 15 people. For reference, the house isn't super big to begin with, so 15 people on their side is likely a bit of a squeeze. But the weird thing is that there is zero noise from their side, like complete silence. Our walls are not thick. I hear when the vacuum is on their side. Do you think 15 people hanging out would bleed through the wall? But there's absolutely nothing. The people they've had over look also to be in their 30s and all walk up to their door, go in, and nothing. I don't know why it's creeping me out, but that's 17 people on the other side of the wall and zero noise. They're in there for about an hour or so and then they all leave. Has anyone had anything like this before or any ideas what they might be doing? I don't want to say anything because that'd be weird, but I also want to know what's going on over there. That is the end of our story. Reading through the comments, some people are saying that maybe it's some type of prayer circle or meditation, but I don't know. All of that seems pretty wild, and there's so many of them. You'd think even if it was some type of like meditation or prayer circle or something, you would hear something, not absolutely nothing. So that is really weird to me. But let me know what you guys think. What could it be? I'm not really sure. But let me know down in the comments what you think. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into our next story. Our next story is titled, Am I in the Wrong for Not Wanting to Attend a Wedding That I Wasn't Invited to by the couple themselves? I, female 25, am a graphic designer, and this is important to the story. My cousin, 29 female, is getting married in September. Let's call her Amy. Back in February, Amy asked me to design her wedding invite. I knew I wasn't getting paid for it, and I still did it because Amy's parents have been really good to me. Amy had about 3 to 4 redesigns, all of which I obliged in. She even made me do a wedding website where people can RSVP. During the entire time, Amy is talking about how I would have so much fun at her wedding, so I assumed I was going to be invited and even booked my tickets to fly to Florida for the wedding in advance. I wanted to get a good deal. Fast forward, it is now August, and I still haven't received any invite from her, and honestly, Amy hasn't spoken to me since I designed her invitation. We have a large family text chain, which both Amy and I are a part of, and she keeps posting updates about her wedding, like she bought her dress, booked a caterer, etc. I was speaking to Amy's mother, my aunt, yesterday, and I told her I'm thinking of canceling my flights because Amy hasn't invited me to her wedding. My aunt and whole family, except Amy, created a huge ruckus over my decision because, according to them, I was overreacting and I don't really need to be given an invitation to come to the wedding. And, anyways, Amy is too busy with wedding prep, apparently. I stood firm, saying that if Amy had time to talk to me when she needed free things, she definitely had time to send me an invite. My family thinks it's alright to not get an invitation and that I'm being rude. Honestly, am I overthinking this? Even though Amy might want me at her wedding, I still feel I shouldn't go for the principle of it. I was never actually invited by her. Edit. I also designed an e-invite for her, and I know that her sister who lives in another state did get the invite. Also, my aunt did discuss sending me an invite, and I still haven't received one. That story is now over. All right. In my opinion, this might be a girl thing, but if this is a guy thing, let me know, but I would just be straight up with Amy and say, "Hey, am I invited to the wedding? I haven't gotten an invite from you. Let me know either way." Like, I feel like it's so much easier sometimes just to be upfront with people and ask them, over text, just straight up, "Am I invited or not?" I know it might be tough because at the same time, if you do that, she's probably going to be obliged. Like, she feels like she might have to say yes to you because you're asking her straight up. I don't know. I just think sometimes it's way easier to be upfront and honest with people and ask them how they feel about certain situations or scenarios. So in this situation, it might be just best to reach out. She's your cousin, reach out to your cousin and say, "Hey, am I invited to the wedding or not? Because I have these flights, and if I'm not, I can cancel them. It's no problem. Just let me know. No worries either way." Right? But Amy would kind of be in the wrong, in my opinion, if she didn't invite you, especially after all the help that you've helped her with, like with the wedding invites as well as the invites. In your family, it depends, I guess, on the size of the family and things like that. But I mean, if you've went out of your way to help her with things for this wedding and you've done it for free, and then she didn't invite you, that's kind of a tough look on her part. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below on this story and what you would do if you were in a situation like this. And yeah, if I was, I would just ask her straight up, "Am I invited or not?" Anyways, let's go ahead and get into another story. Our next story is titled, "I Want to Share My Experience." My grandma said before she died, some of our family had a gift to see entities. My mom does, and so do I. We live in a secluded village in the middle of rice fields, a lot of trees and rice plants everywhere. When I was 9 to 10 years old, I was playing in the living room. My mom was asleep, and my dad works and goes home only on weekends. So, while I'm playing, it was morning, but it's raining and the weather is not good. It was windy too. I was coloring my book when I saw someone walk in. I thought it was my mom, so I didn't think much of it. But then I saw the figure. It was a girl with long hair, a white dress, and a long veil walking in front of me, and then vanished when she entered another room. Second one is, since our place is secluded, at night it was really dark. Since there's no light in the rice field, I saw someone walking there at night. I think a man, but with there being no lights, all I could see was a silhouette, but I'm not sure if it was something paranormal or not. The third time was when I was 15. I woke up in the middle of the night and I needed some water. My mom forgot to close the window, so I did. But before I did, I saw a girl, the same one I saw when I was just a kid, but she was floating beside the acacia tree. I brushed it off and went to bed since I'm used to it. In the morning, I told my aunt about it, and what she said shocked me. She said that she saw the girl too. The fourth one is before my grandma died. She told me to buy candles. I didn't know she was going to die the next day. It was night, and I saw a silhouette peeking outside the window. Then I heard someone whisper the number 16. My grandma died on August 16th. The last one. This was about our village. All of the people talk about it. It was raining. It was midnight when someone knocked on every door in every house in our village at the exact same time. Next day, there were people talking about what it could have been and is still a mystery to this day. That is the end of our story. So, I don't know what I would have done if I would have experienced just one of those things happening to me. So, I can't imagine having to experience all five of those. They're all creepy, in general. But yeah, I am happy none of those things have ever happened to me. But anyways, let me know if you guys have any similar spooky experiences that you've had in your life. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below. Alrighty guys, I think that's going to do it for me today. If you like this video and enjoyed this type of content, please leave a like. and subscribe. That would be pretty epic. It goes a long way and it means the world to me. If you didn't like this video, don't do anything. But anyways, I appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Like I said, it means the world to me, especially if you've made it this far. I really appreciate it. And I know I touched on this in the beginning of the video, but if you guys have any stories of your own that you want me to read and react to, feel free to send it to the email down in the description. Alrighty guys, I appreciate you guys so much again. Thank you so much for watching my videos. It means the world. Alrighty guys, I guess I'll talk to you in the next one. Alrighty, peace.